Hello and welcome to another live coaching. I'm we've got guests. It's Easter, kids have birthdays, so I'm not in my office. The office is a guest bedroom this weekend. So I don't have the best setup. So this might be a shorter live stream, but I'm going to try to get through everything that's been posted. If you don't know, there is this group on Facebook called Graham Ezzy's Windsurf Coaching Community. And everything that is posted in that group during the week, comments, questions, concerns, photos, videos, all of the above, I look at them during this Sunday live coaching. I do this every week. We've been doing it for going on 5 years now, and very few Sundays missed. Not all of them have been made, but very, very few have been missed. And yeah, it's a lot of fun. So if you are not in the Facebook community, if you're just discovering this for the first time, I recommend joining the Facebook community. But that's not the only way to engage. If you want to ask a question, you can do so in the chat. And I'm looking at other ways, if you're not on Facebook, how you can upload photos and videos as well. But for now, the way to do it is in the chat. And we've got people in the chat already. We've got Axel. Hello, Axel, who has had 5 sessions this week in Morocco. By the way, Axel is joining us on the Masterclass in Morocco, and there are still spaces in the second week. We're doing 2 Masterclasses. The first week is sold out, but the second week has spots. So you go to windsurfingmasterclass.com, go to apply here, and then you can hit the application, fill it out. Takes just a few minutes. A little bit about your name, your windsurfing background. We want to make sure that the people who get into the course are the good fit for the course, the right level. But don't let that intimidate you. Really, a lot of levels are welcome. What's really important is you're comfortable sailing upwind. You're comfortable going in and out through the waves. And there really isn't an upper limit on the level as well. We've had people who are working on goiters alongside people who are just getting comfortable in the waves. And I find that having that level spectrum is really helpful actually for the group, because the higher level guys help pull up the people on the bottom, and then the people on the bottom offer an opportunity as well for the people who are at the higher level to do a little bit of coaching, and also then to feel some confidence. So it's really beneficial for everyone involved, as long as everyone has a good attitude about it. Tomas, happy Easter. We've got Jorg in the chat practicing flockas. Mr. Matt Gold. How are the flockas going, Jorg? I'm curious. Maybe you guys need some private coaching. I know Thomas doesn't need it, but maybe it's interesting. I love flockas. It's such a fun move. And I know that Tomas has his own methods, but if you want my methods, let me know. Suna has had some great sessions, I think. I'm keen to get up to Denmark, get on the water. I've been in baby mode coming out of that. We got Christoph in Santa Cruz, Greg, who is with the family in Fuerte. Ooh, awesome. And we got G. Luke off to Maui. Ooh, jealous. All right, let's get into the Facebook group. We've got some good questions. All right, we're going to start off with Ragnar San with some good self sort of self-analysis. Ragnar has been in the coaching group for a long time. He's done he's done a lot of the in-person master classes, wants to work on the forwards. I'm just going to pause a little bit on Ragnar. I really like Ragnar's self-analysis. I think it's very honest and humble, which is what's really important for progress, because if you're not honest with yourself and you think that you're somewhere where you want to be, or you let your ego get in the way, and then you're not actually working on your fundamental skills, that just stops your progress. So G-Luke is saying Flocka Masterclass. Eric is saying Flockas are interesting. Jorg is saying humbling experience. So Flockas, I think, are the hardest windsurfing move to learn. I think they are the hardest windsurfing move to learn. That doesn't mean that they're the most advanced move out there, but at the level that you are when you're learning Flockas, and then how different you relate to your gear compared to everything else you've done in windsurfing before, I think flockas are the hardest step up in terms of windsurfing move. Vulcans are also pretty hard. That's another one of those like real game changer moves where you've got to get your weight forward, you're sliding, all of that stuff. But I think flockas are by far the hardest. Because they're so hard, I don't think, or at least let me put it this way, I don't have a pre-recorded masterclass that I can think of how to teach the flocka. But maybe there's a live one what we could do if we get a few people together, and we could do it through Zoom, and we could do a shaka course. Tomas says shakas are the hardest to learn. Shakas are weird for me because I think like you learn the shaka after the flocka, and so you're already used to that kind of upwind rotation. So I would say it's not as like world shattering, whereas the flocka is really world shattering. You're interacting with your gear in a way that you've never interacted with it before. And then also with shakas, depends. Like if you're coming from the wave riding, I think they're not as weird because like I don't know, like going from the backside 360s and the shove its and stuff, it's not so weird, so different. But I don't know. My shakas are also weird. Like I can do shakas, but not real pretty freestyle shakas. I do more of like a wave sailor shaka. So either really jumping and getting air, or then on the wave and using the lip. Dennis is in the chat. Nice. Starboard tack session. All right, let's get back to Ragnar. So Ragnar says that he has been doing some serious forward loop exercises, and he feels that before he does more, he needs to get his simple straight jumps in order. This is really important. Your fundamentals are so important because if your fundamentals are not 100% solid, then if you're jumping ahead, you're just wasting time. You're just wasting time. So he's working on these clips from Pozo, and he realized he was always jumping hooked in, and he has a tendency to sheet out too early because he wanted to land with the back of the board. He should try to initiate the jump more with more back foot pressure and then more tucked up. Training jumps with grab hooked in, probably only train tucking up. He thinks he needs to practice jumping not hooked in and with more initial back foot pressure. Okay, so this is good self-analysis. All right, so I'm going to do something as we go through it because you guys were saying that I'm too big, so I'm going to make myself small, and we're going to make Ragnar full screen. Full screen, come on. Sometimes these things don't like to show up. Full screen button here. I don't know why. I don't even have any of the controls. Funky. I don't know why. Facebook is funny sometimes. Yeah, so Ragnar, I think your self-analysis is really good. The way that you're jumping is different than how you want to be jumping for forward loops. And that always jumping hooked in is also going to really limit your jumping. So I fully agree here. I think that because you're leaning back so much, it makes it not great forward loop training. If you want to be more level, because with the forward loop, you don't want to be leaning back. So a forward loop is not like a normal jump. And then in this one, you're doing the tail grab exercise, which I recommend. It's a really good exercise um, for a forward loop, but you want to really exaggerate it. So you're really tucking your legs up really tight and then trying to really grab that tail. So it's not just a tap. So this is great as a beginning, but you want to then really bring those legs up and really grab that tail. There's an exercise that I have. So I'm working on a forward loop course, and because you guys are here, I'll give you a little cheat summary if I can find it on my computer. If I can't find it on my computer, then you'll have to buy the course. But let me see if I can find it on my computer. I had a clip um, uh, of an exercise which is maybe just on my phone, in which case I'll post it in the course when I put the course online. But basically, you go from a sitting position as if you're sitting in a chair to a standing position, and you do that going off the wave. And um, that helps you get the extension in the same way that you need to for a forward loop going off a ramp. Greg is asking if I can mute the video. Greg, no, I didn't have any controls. I couldn't make it full screen. I couldn't do anything. I don't know what's up with Facebook at the moment. So I agree, Ragnar, jumping not hooked in. I'm not sure with more initial back foot. I think you want to think about keeping the board more level, because one of the big things with the forward loop is you want to get the nose of the board down before you do the rotation, or as you're initiating the rotation. You don't want to start the rotation with the board pointing up. That's a big mistake, a big common mistake. You really want to work on jumping more with the board flat and then getting the nose down and then going into the rotation. And so I don't know if back foot pressure or not, but you don't want to be leaning back. You want to be thinking more upright, more up and down. And then going from that kind of chair position to a standing position, and that will get you the pop that you need. So you go from like a legs bent as if you're sitting in a chair, and then as you're going off the ramp, you're extending your legs, and that gives you the pop and sort of the level that you need. And then you tuck up your legs. Yeah, and then try to really tuck those legs up. Also really useful. But good job. Good job. Mateo asks if there are any master classes organized in the winter. So far, there are none organized this winter, but the master classes are based on my schedule. We were in Cape Town 2 winters ago because I was there, and we had a great group. Greg was in it. And yeah, this year, I'm not sure. So I'm going to be spending more time in Hawaii after this summer. So if you're in Europe, I recommend and you want to do a masterclass, I recommend jumping on one of the ones we're doing this summer. So I'm doing Morocco and I'm doing Gran Canaria because I'm not sure with my Europe schedule because then I'll be in Hawaii. And so then the masterclasses will be more focused in Hawaii, Japan, North America. I'll still be coming to Europe, but I'll be less here than I have been in the last few years. All right, we got a question from Yoshihito. And it's about rigging. He's got the 4.0 and he recommends a 370 top. So the sail is recommended to be used with this mast combination. He doesn't have a 340, so he's using it with just the 370. Yeah, so the thing with masts and the sails, especially in the small sizes, is that it's really a compromise, or compromise is the wrong word, but the recommended mast that's on the sails is recommended for the average sailor. So for example, on the 4.0, which is recommended to be used with a 340 and a 370, because I'm on the heavier side, I like using that sail with the straight 370. So how you are using it, Yoshi Hito. And so the longer the mast, the stiffer it is. The shorter the mast, the softer it is. And so being a bigger person and using the small sails in really windy conditions, like having them a little bit stiffer, because otherwise with the soft mast, I felt like the sails are moving too much. I want it stiffer feeling. And so I would use a 370 instead of the 370-340 combination that's recommended. So if you're heavier, I think riding the 370 can be better if you want a stiffer combination. If you are lighter or if you want a softer combination, then going with the 370-340 is going to feel better. So it really depends on your weight, but the if you're using it with the 370, it still is gonna work. The sail is just gonna be on the stiffer side. All right, so we've got another rigging question, and this time it's about downhaul. So this is Mike. He's got a quick question about the Ezzy wave rigging. So he downhauled to max, went past max, but then pulled it back and was wondering about over downhauling. So if you put too much tension on the sail, it's going to feel dead. I think the sails can handle more downhaul than outhaul, which is a little bit contrary to what some people in the comments said. But if you outhaul the sails too much, so if you get them so that they're just flat as a board, they feel dead. Then you don't have anything on the backhand, and it doesn't feel good. The sail then shuts off randomly. I think you can go to max on the downhaul, and you can even go a little bit past max. So, for example, on the 3.7, like I would rather, instead of switching down to a 3.4, I would rather go past max on my downhaul, and I find that that's more comfortable. And maybe then I'm also max on the outhaul, but I don't want to go past max on the outhaul. So there's a point where the sail gets like flat as a board, and that's really too much outhaul. So you go just a tiny bit less than that. Um, and yeah, that's for the max wind conditions. So I think it's not a problem to downhaul to the max. But with all of these things, you want to really go off of the feeling. Go off of the feeling. All right, we've got George joining the group, posting a photo. If you've joined the group and you haven't posted a photo or a question, say hello. Harold, oh man, Harold hurt his shoulder, and I've had some contact with Harold offline, and we've got, there's a lot of these like other little groups, windsurfing masterclass groups, and there's a training group that Harold is in, fitness group that is led by our resident fitness master, and he's been working with Harold on this recovery, and yeah, hopefully, Harold, we wish you the best. All right, so is some more footage from Mateo. We're gonna watch it in a second. If we can get it loaded. Let's see. I don't know why I can't make it full screen. Something's weird with Facebook today, and I can't turn off the sound. I can turn off my sound like that, Greg. I don't know if that makes it better for you, or if it still tries to play. All right, let's watch this clip again. Yeah, nice looking waves. Nice looking waves. I would really like to go to Sardinia. This is on my bucket list. Beautiful little bottom turn aerial. I feel like we saw this last week. Didn't we see this last week? I think we talked about this, and there's nothing wrong with that. We talked about this last week, and you can work on tweaking it. Um, yeah, we talked about it. So that means we're all caught up. That's crazy. Short little live coaching. If you are interested in joining a masterclass, there is space in Morocco. There's space in Morocco, and there's space in Gran Canaria. So we've got two masterclasses, um, two main groups. So you just go to windsurfingmasterclass.com, and then you can go here, apply. And we've got this one, June 15th to 21st, and then July 21st to 27th in Gran Canaria. And we're also doing something in Maui, which will be in September. And I know a few of you guys have applied, and yeah, you'll hear back from me. So those are what we've got going on. Looks like my head is blocking these. Let me make my head smaller, and then you can see these master classes. The application is pretty quick. Yep. So we've got week 2, and you can apply for week 1 as well if these dates work for you. Because Harold is in week 1 of Morocco, and it's not clear whether his injury will be recovered by then. So if you want to get on that wait list, I recommend it. But hopefully, don't bank on it is what I'm trying to say. So week 2 or Gran Canaria still have spots though. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. I hope everyone has a wonderful week, a wonderful holiday. Hope it's windy and sunny and all of the above. I am going to say sayonara, sign off, and I'll see you next week, Sunday.